So, hello everyone, welcome. This is the official Harbor CNCF community meeting. Today is the 4th September. This is a recording session, so please follow the code of conduct from Cloud Native Foundation, which means behave according and nice. All right, so we have some topics on the agenda, and I'm sharing the link now, and I'm also publishing it. So if you're new here or the first time joining, please add yourself as attendee, so that yeah, if you want, of course, let me know who's there and who said what here in this meeting. In the meeting notes, I'll make the notes for today, and yeah. I see we have no notes, updates, or discussions for today, but I think there are definitely a few of those. So if anyone would like to start, I'll share my screen and make the notes. So, do we have any topics for
Sorry
today?
to interrupt, Vadim, hello, Vadim. Sorry to interrupt, but there's already an entry for September 4, and there are a few topics.
All right, now I see. Thank you. I'll update this. So then we have a topic for today, which is transfer the Harbor Tree adapter and call for review. Okay, so who would like to start from transfer the Harbor Tree adapter?
Yeah, I can give some update. So Harvard has been collaborating with Aqua to use Trivia as the default scanner for Harbor. But recently, the Aqua developer contacted us saying that due to the resource limitation, they're gonna stop maintaining the Harbor Trivia adapter. As a result, we will fork the Harbor Trivia adapter from the Aquas organization to Go Harbor organization. That will happen very soon, and we expect that 2.12 will use this forked version.
Okay.
Yep.
So we had a yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, recently we had some conversations with the Trivia team, and they told us that the maintainer of our Trivia adapter has left their company, so there is no resource who is working on this project. So the maintainer from Trivia team want us to take the ownership of this repository, and they prefer to transfer this adapter into the Go Harbor, so then the maintainer from Go Harbor can maintain this sub-project. So this is the background.
What does this mean for the Harbor project in the future? Apart from that, we're maintaining it, but what are the consequences of that?
So I mean, we should maintain the Harbor Trivia adapter as a sub-project of Go Harbor, because it is a critical a component of Harbor to leverage Trivia as a default scanner. William?
Yeah. Do we have?
I think
someone?
We'll try not to impact any Harbor user, but this is just a FYI, because the Harbor Trivia adapter will no longer be maintained by Aqua Security. There may be some hiccups going on, but we will try to avoid that.
Okay, got it. But do we have on our side who's going to be the kind of responsible for the Trivia adapter?
Can you say that again? What's your question?
Will there be someone responsible specifically for the Trivia adapter?
Yeah. At this moment, I will be repo and try to make sure that we release the Harbor Trivia adapter for Harbor 2.12. So this is Daniel.
Daniel, I think we are also welcome other contributors to join us to maintain this together as well. But right now,
After I think in
yeah.
2012 I will do that.
Okay, yeah. And also we are also welcome other contributor to contribute as well. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this it about the adapter? Should we go to the next topic?
Yeah.
Okay. Next topic in the agenda is the review of the pull request, which is about the robot permission expansion. This will,
Yes.
as I recall correctly, this will allow robot accounts to be able to create other robot accounts, right? So this is the one of the changes to that.
Yeah. So basically, we have introduced some changes since 2010, and some partially the permissions were prohibited for the robot account. So, but we receive a lot of requests from the community, and the customer want us to expand the permission side to let the robot to create another one, and let the robot to have the capability to configure some system setting. So so on and so forth. So this proposal is to basically to address the issue that comes from the community, that expand the current permission side to next level. So I want to maintainer can review this proposal. Yeah.
Okay. So the request is basically for the community to review this proposal, add the comments, and see if this is fulfills their requirement, right?
Yes, because because this is the anchor feature of 2.12, and we are in a development phase. So I appreciate that the maintainer from the maintainer group can have a review. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right. Good. So we have the topics on this list. Do we have any other topics from the community that you would like to bring up? Because I see no other topics. And I have maybe.
I think one item we want to check with you that regarding our AWS resources, it seems they are like helping to get more resources to move some item to the CNCF AWS resource. Maybe you can give us some update on that angle.
Yeah. So we have, I mean, currently we have an AWS account that is owned by CNCF and that is dedicated to us that we can use. And in this account, we have currently running 2 instances. One instance is called registry.goharbor.io. This is the registry that should maybe or should eventually become the default registry where our users can fetch our images. So this is the one registry that we own and operate. The other registry is the demo one, which is currently hosted on somewhere else. And this instance is now will be migrated this week from somewhere else to also the AWS account. So we have already the instance running. What we need to do is we need to switch the domains now from demo.goharbor.io. That is not pointing to the old instance, but pointing to the new instance. And then we have it running by the end of the week. I'm currently discussing this with Olin, as Olin has the access to the DNS and he can do the switch. And once we have the switch, we will be using then the registry on the AWS account what we need to do now as a next step is to publish the source code of the provisioning of the demo account. So this will happen. This will happen then in a couple of weeks. Then,
Okay.
the provisioning of the infrastructure, provisioning of the deploying to Harbor, and so forth. Yeah. So this is the current status.
Thank you, Vadim.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And one more thing is that we're gonna talk about some planning timeline of the 2.11, sorry. The release timeline. This time. Yan or Daniel?
I think in the previous committee meeting, Jiaoling has already mentioned that we may postpone for the 2.12 for a couple of weeks because of the infrastructure migration internally, because that currently we are leveraging the internal resource to run the Natalie pipelines, which is the key component or the doorkeeper for the 2.12 release or Harbor release. So it may take about 1 month. So we propose to postpone the release in each stage of release, like FC, GA, RC, for maybe 2 weeks later. So
okay. What would this mean in terms of dates? So if we shift it now, what is the date, the release date for 2.12 then?
I don't think we have
so,
a specific timeline because the impact for the internal infra outage is not very manageable at this moment. At least for feature complete, we have agreed that we will delay that for 3 weeks. But as for the GA date, I don't think we have a specific date at this moment.
Okay, so there is no GA date at the moment.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for the clarifications. Sorry, I haven't attended last time, so I didn't know if we were given an accurate date last time. So I've just bring it up to this meeting again. Yeah, thanks for clarification.
I think probably it's easier that we can have a wiki to keep it up to date about this OSS release milestones, so we have more transparency, right?
Yeah, I think it's like good idea.
Yeah.
We have a project board to record the date for each release, but
is it
maybe
maintained?
auto maintain, but we put some original data, but we didn't update the data according to our conversation. But okay. Yeah, we should do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, we have other topics that we would like to discuss. I think there's also some organizational changes on the Broadcom side that might impact the Harbor community. Are there any updates regarding that?
No, basically,
Steven,
I don't think. I think the impact is from internal Broadcom, but from community side, we will continue what we are doing as previously, and also there are some changes for Jiaoling, and I will on behalf of him to attend this meeting in future. Yeah, but all those are very internal, which is not impact our community.
Okay. Okay, good. Good. Thank you.
But since the since the change within the Broadcom, so we may lost some testing resources. So we would like to leverage more resource from the CNCF in the future, like the nightly testing or some build storage. So I will talk to Arlene to ask more storage from the CNCF in the future to continue moving our infrastructure from internal to external. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry. Another item as we have already repeated several times in a community meeting that we are lacking of resource on UI development. So we're still seeking help from community or from your side.
Yeah. That's I addressed this already on our side here, and we can definitely help out on the community on the UI part, but we need to have to understand, and so I can allocate resources to that. We need to understand the requirements, and we need to have the requirements public, right? So we cannot help if there is no requirements and if there is no discussion in an asynchronous way. So we need to publish this information that is currently internal. We need to make this information public so that people can pick this up from our side, because currently there is
I think we
no
can
information to address, right? So if I should put someone on the UI part, they have nothing to do. That's the point.
There are a few UI related PRs pending for review, right? Yeah.
Yes, there are a few of them. I have already marked at help wanted in UI as well. So
Okay.
you can stuff on there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just check.
So I think another point is that if we have some dedicated resource who will working on the UI development in the future from your side, and I think he or she can help to review the proposal, like because we may add some UI items in the proposal to point the change in the UI part. So that will helpful.
Okay. I can just say UI.
Some of the proposal requires some of the
It's the long
proposals require UI development. So
yeah, but this needs to be public. Otherwise, I mean, how should the
I think all the
person know
things
what to
are
do?
public.
Yeah, for example, if you look at the 20873, it has a label called area/UI and the label said help wanted. I think
Issue.
PR. If you look
Yes.
at the screen, just on your browser, 2087 208. It was on the list. But the number is 20873. Yeah.
Daniel, I think we can create some filters based on the label so that
It doesn't need a filter. It has a label already. You can search
we
the
can use
label.
the
we have
label, search with the label. Yeah.
Yes, you can filter by UI and help wanted.
Yeah.
And you can add the developer into the hardware maintainer Slack channel. I will continue sending UI requests into that channel to seeking for help from the maintainer group. Yeah.
All right. Good. So let me just add this. I'll adding this PR to the community. So any other topics that we should discuss? Okay. I think seems if there is nobody, I have no other topics. I mean, I have of course a few topics that I'm not sure, but there are a few PRs from our side that open for quite a while, and I'm just wondering how we can move them forward. So it might be, we might need some help from you guys to approve that, because they're not moving forward. And it's one is the let me just check for my colleague. Just check. Well, this is definitely one issue here. This is the extending the audit log with the capabilities to audit log IP addresses and user agents. And there have been some discussions about the future of audit log, that it should be rewritten and changed and things like this. But well, currently in the community, there is also kind of extending of the audit log with new capabilities of the robot accounts. And I was wondering, like, what is the status there? So what's preventing us accepting this PR?
So yeah, I have a comment, but is that tested behind the VPN? I do have some concern about the reliability.
Well, the reliability, I mean, it's a twofold thing, right? So if you, of course, have a network topology that is losing information, right? So for example, if you are behind an ingress and the ingress is not right configured, then it will not work. But if you set it up correctly, as normally people do, if they want to track the IP addresses, this is working as expected. So there is no let's say there is no issue that it will work in some cases and it will not work in other cases. So if you set it up correctly, your ingress and load balancers and the middleware in between, it is working correctly because it's part of the TCP specification. And
Yeah, the reason I have concern is that we have some enterprise customers using Harbor, which has really complicated networking scenario, and they have their infrastructure to track all the traffics. My worry is that I don't want them to see different results and come to us to complain. So that's why I have some concern in this area. So when the customer has such requirement, my response used to be you need to set up your network infrastructure and somehow capture the traffic in a certain way. This is similar to CVE scanning, like they use Harbor to scan CVE and they use other tools to scan CVE, report different things, and we have a lot of questions or concerns. But that's the way for CVE. I don't think, if we don't want to introduce such confusion in the IP address area, probably we should be refrain from adding this. Otherwise, we need to have a way to make sure that this is relatively accurate.
Well, I mean, yeah, if you have an environment that does not allow you to track the IP addresses, right, because you're losing the IP address in your middleware, in your ingress control, then of course you cannot log anything, right? And you will see nothing there, right? Or you will see a local host or something like this, right? But then it's obvious that this is not possible. And I mean, yeah, the whole part is part of the normal, let's say, common standards, industry standards here, right? So we're not kind of reinventing the wheel. We're just using industry standards to extracting IP information from header.
But I'm curious why this is so important in the audit log. Is it really important? Like, if I have a user called Vadim pulling image, why is it always necessary to record the IP and it's inaccurate in many cases? I know Vadim is pulling the image, so why we need to record the IP addresses?
Well, the information is that while you can well, what this helps in the security teams is they can identify if their secrets are leaking, right? So if there's someone else is having my robot account secrets and they're pulling images from a region or from IP address that should not be allowed to pull the images from, right? They can identify and see this. That's the reason, right? So you want to kind of you want to have a threat analysis and find out if secrets are, for example, leaked, right? Based on the usage patterns. And I mean, this is also a quite common use case, right? So there's a lot of issues regarding exactly this use case. And from the security perspective, I think it makes totally sense for enabling this functionality. And this is, yeah, as an optional, it's an optional use case, right? So you don't have to enable it; it's not mandatory.
I have another concerns here. Will this by enabling this will violate any like GDPR regulations at your side, or I don't know. I'm not familiar with that rules, so just curious.
Well, I don't know if you can answer this question.
Yes, because we have some like argument from the communities that something like username or the infos of the service would violate some of the GDPR rules, which some of the companies would like have concerns like this. So we should like investigate more about this maybe.
I mean, we had added the feature of GDPR compliant audit logs, right? So if you remember, there's an option in Harbor that enables GDPR compliant audit logs, and this more involves of kind of a history of GDPR compliant audit logs. So maybe it can be extended to also IP addresses, but in reality, I mean, if you need to track the IP addresses, this is not something that is I mean, yeah, GDPR compliance means can mean different things, and it doesn't prohibit tracking IP addresses, right? So if you're kind of tracking IP addresses and you delete this information after a certain time, this is still considered to be GDPR compliant, right? So I think there is no rule that says if you track IP addresses, it's not GDPR compliant.
Okay, sure. Yeah, just one thought from my side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and rather than individual PR pull requests, I mean, we probably need a generally a proposal for enhance the audio log. So add the IP address should be one of the requirements. You know that we do have a lot of requirements for the audio log from the community. So so I prefer that someone can from a community or from the maintainers can draft a proposal for audio log enhancement, like what we want to have, and so consolidate all the issues or PRs related audio log to one proposal for enhance the audio log. So
are you referring to audit log in general, or are you referring to this particular PR?
Because we have a lot of requests or feature requests or a PR regarding audio log. We want at least, and someone I wanted to add that. So I would like to see there should be a generally proposal for audio log enhancement to consolidate all the issues, all the requests into one proposal to include all the requirements from community. Yeah, so then other maintainers can review that proposal to discuss whether we want to introduce this one or that one, and by how and when. So what do you think? Otherwise, we continue seeing a lot of PRs to add more items for audio log, and we want to add this attribute.
What's the
and someone
what is the problem with that?
Someone. but there's no standard for us to decide whether to accept a PR or address someone issues regarding audit. So someone requests us to add a sign in, sign off item for audit. Someone asks us to add items for replication failure. Yeah, so on and so forth. So what is a criteria for us to accept or reject a item? Or does the current framework support all the requirements from the community? Don't we have any performance problem in because we are currently leveraging the database to store all the log items. If we continue adding more attributes or more items, there should be some performance or storage problem regarding the database. So a lot of things. So I believe that someone from community or maintainer can draft a general audit proposal. Then we can continue discuss around that, and eventually we will do maybe a next version audit. So what do you think? What do you think?
In general, it sounds good. My only concern here is that this will, go on for years then, right? So that we have a new subsystem for audit log. Because this is not something we can get into quickly, and I'm more of a fan of gradual and small changes over big bangs. So so how can we break it down in small changes? So we need to understand. I would like to understand what is the current problem with the current audit log, for example, right? There is the only thing that I hear from your discussion is that your concern is that people will add more and more audit log functionalities, not functionalities, but events that they want to log, right? And I don't see any problem with that. So I'm not sure if this is a problem that we should solve with the new subsystem for audit logs. Right? So is there any other issue that, like you said, is storage a problem per se, or kind of, because it's not tangible for me to identify like what should be the new subsystem for audit logs make better than the current one. Right? Should it be easier to add new events? Should it be easier to store events or process events, or what should be the kind of what do we have in mind? What the new subsystem for event logs should be doing better than the one we have currently?
Yeah, I think whether we have a framework to introduce really complicated set of audit logs, that's a relatively separate topic. As for this IP address issue, I think my current concern is accuracy, and Vadim, your point is being inaccurate is probably okay. So I think that's a disagreement here, and I'm gonna think about it offline, and feel free to reach out to us via Slack or in other community meeting. But I think you're okay that this does not go into 2.12, right?
Well, regarding accuracy, the accuracy, it's accurate what it gets, right? So if you're sending wrong data, it will track them, right? It cannot correct the wrong data. So the accuracy is a bit.
It's not about sending wrong data, but again, I have limited expertise in networking, but in my previous experience, when we try to capture the IP, in many ways it can go wrong. It can be the gateway. It can be the IP of the gateway. It can be the IP of the proxy in different ways. So if there is if this is contributed by your developer and you have tested in different scenarios, and even in some ways it's not accurate, but we can doubt what is inaccurate, I think it would be helpful. But it sounds like there are some cases because you mentioned that it works as it should also be over VPN. So that doesn't answer like does it really sending the IP of the client or some other IP in the path. So if these are considered and tested, I think it will be helpful for this discussion and move forward. Otherwise, my concern would remain.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in our internal system, we use the same method to get the IP address, but the IP address is just the IP address of the load balancer, not the real client IP.
Yeah, what I want to avoid is that my customer come to me saying the audit log is reporting an incorrect IP address. I think that's worse than not reporting it.
Yeah.
So, but Daniel, I think your concern is different from Jens, right? For this, given that we already have code, do you still require a proposal like before the code, or you just require?
So I was not very, involved in the Harbor community meeting for a while, so I'm not sure if there's a proposal already accepted or not. But
No,
by
there's no
reading
proposal for that one.
No, there's no proposal regarding that. Yeah, SP.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also agree with Daniel and Vadim, right? So it's on. I feel that if you require this contributor to collect all the other requirements before he delivers this, it is too much work. Unless there is a clearly requirement identified that he can summarize. Otherwise, it will take very long. So I think I think it's better like for such long PR, it's better we have a proposal, and also. But as Daniel mentioned, right? So if we can identify some topology and tell the results in such topology, what IP will record, the same will be get approved from Daniel. But right now, I think we are concerned regarding like collecting the IP out of expectation, which will causing more confusion for the users.
Yeah, I understand, but I have some disagreement. Yeah, but I understand your concern, but I have some disagreement because so regarding this PR, there are some changes for database schema for audit log, but that mean that it will meet all the requirements for the other issues regarding the audit. I mean that if we have some if we have a generic proposal regarding the audit log enhancement, we should consider all the requirements, and we can see which one require any new attribute or any new database table or any other columns. But this one just add one.
If you want to make small enhancement to the existing audit log, that should be allowed. I think on that part, I'm aligned with Vadim. Yeah, like adding small attribute. I think providing a generic audit log data structure and a mechanism for collection is on our radar, but take a lot of time. But if there is some short-term, low-hanging, satisfy his customer or the general user, I think that can be accepted as a short-term solution, and it doesn't block us from the refactor and the bigger goal to provide a more generic audit log mechanism, right?
But it maybe have some back and forth, like we add more item and remove it in the future release. Yeah.
I think
Sorry,
go ahead.
Like we add the client IP in this release, and in the future we redesign the audit framework, so then we have to remove the client IP from the audit table. Yeah, sort of. I just thinking about that.
I think if this is merged and in our future design, we should make sure the client IP is also captured.
Yeah, unless you agree with the current user story. If you agree with current user story, even in your redesign, you should make sure the current user story is still working. Otherwise, you will have regression and breaking the previous behavior. And that's why I think a proposal needed, right? So we should agree with your story. We first need to agree with audit log this IP is a valid use case, right? And if you agree with that, right, so you shouldn't change even you design the whole system.
Right.
Sorry, I have maybe a naive suggestion here. Given we already having a lot of like enhancement requirements from our community and the scattering within our peers, a lot of peers and issues. So maybe we could like one of our maintainers collecting all of them, that the existing ones, I mean, and maybe creating it as a epic for the audit log enhancement in our communities, and breaking down the small tasks, and make sure that the data structures as generic as possible, given to the current existing requirements. So that might be better for to like help Yan's concerns. The balancing for the existing requirements and the scattering things and the overall generating things in the long term. Yeah.
The long-term design to provide a generic audit log should not block the low-hanging fruit. That's my opinion. Like the client IP.
Yeah, I agree with
I
you.
agree.
IP is needed in this current pull and push audit log. In the design, we should certainly make sure that the generic access log can contain the information like client IP.
But the client IP is just for the pull or push. But we have a lot of other kind of items like project creation, project deletion. So should we also record the client IP for these items? Yeah, I have some concerns regarding
my current quick answer is no, because we should have event. Sorry, we should have an event specific attributes for different event. It doesn't make sense to introduce the same attribute for different events, because if we wanna trace many different events, we need this extensible structure to store different attributes, this event-specific attributes. That's for sure. For example, I change a user's password. Maybe I need. No, that's not a good example. Sorry, password should not be leaked. I add a user to a project as a certain role. It has a role name, the username, and other stuff. But if my if the event is a different scenario, like pull or push image, that certainly has different attributes. That's for sure. So in terms of the client IP, I think the current requirement is to trace the IP when image is pulled or pushed. If that's a requirement, I think we can continue discuss that. We should not let the generic audit log block this. Otherwise, we cannot make progress.
Hi, in our customer case, they require or record client IP for adult log. So I think it's required.
Yes.
And in our case, we record adult log to other system. I don't think record adult log in database is a good idea. So can we refactoring the ADO log system to make options make user choice which to store the ADO log. Maybe database, maybe other system.
I think that's already done, right? We can choose to store it in database or other forward to other systems.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a feature to forward. Yeah. So based on the discussion, so I believe a proposal is needed because we do have a lot of disagreement around this PR, right, Vadim?
Yes. We need
I
the
agree.
proposal. I agree.
Okay, I'll add this one as a proposal.
That suggest to collecting all the existing requirements for the audio log enhancement, including to that proposal, might be better. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good. So are there any other topics that we should discuss? Okay, if there is nothing else more, then I would say thank you very much for joining today and for the discussion. And having a nice day, everyone. And bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.